Prison walls are built to keep the most dangerous criminals locked away, but some inmates will go to terrifying lengths to break free. From meticulously planned escapes to spur-of-the-moment dashes for freedom, these real-life prison breakouts defy the odds and shock the world. In this video, we'll uncover 35 of the most terrifying prison escapes ever caught on camera. Let's get started. During the quiet hours of April 22, 2013, two sex offenders, Tyrone Speechley and Algana Tears, escaped from a jail farm in Townsville, Queensland, Australia. The next day, they were seen in the scrubland near Palarenda by nearby passers. The police quickly caught up with them and chased them through the bushes. They quickly surrounded Tears, but Speechley ran off into some nearby swamps. Officers didn't follow Speechley into the dirty water as the day went on because it was getting dark, and they were worried about their own safety.
Another one's gone on foot across the side near that bridge at the end. Hey, George, do you want to hit that one?
After a few days, Speechley was subsequently apprehended. Following their escape attempt, Tears and Speechley faced additional charges. Cameras capture a daring escape at the Adelaide Remand Centre. At 10:20 a.m. on December 1, 2020, 33-year-old prisoner Jason Burton snuck through an air vent and climbed down to the sidewalk using a makeshift rope of tied-together clothes.
He emerges from an air vent high on one side of the remand centre, then lowers himself onto the footpath before casually walking down Phillip Street through the city.
In order to get away from the vicinity of his escape, at 12:45 p.m., Burton had taken a black Toyota RAV4 from West Lake Shore. The silver roof racks and camping tent on the roof made it so easy to spot. Even with all the trouble, the police think he is a low-risk criminal and continue searching the Curry Street area with CCTV and dogs.
But to call police.
Burton was in the kitchen area of the maximum security prison when he broke out just before 10 a.m. Vision shows the panic as guards looked for him.
The jail operator was subject to a $100,000 fine, leading to changes in security measures. After his escape, Jason was involved in several other criminal activities, including theft and aggravated severe criminal trespass. Jason received a 15-year sentence with no parole for 12 years following his recapture.
Bail.
Some firearms offences at the lower end. We would like to apprehend him as soon as possible, but currently we believe he doesn't pose a risk to the community.
The kitchen clothing.
This next footage from the St. Francis County Sheriff's Office shows a remarkable escape. 5 convicts escaped on Tuesday night, January 17, 2023. Just before 7 p.m., 2 of them pushed beneath an escape gate at Centene Corporation in Farmington.
Office shows the moment 5 inmates hit the road after making an escape Tuesday night. 2 of them can be seen rolling under the exit gate in the parking lot of the Centene Corporation.
Minutes later, 2 criminals who had just escaped showed up in a stolen 2009 Scion, where they picked up the remaining 3.
7. Moments later, they pulled to the gate in a stolen dark gray 2009 Scion. 3 others hop in.
5 people all at once.
The Arkansas Police Department later claimed that the inmates accessed the roof via a plumbing chase, a tight opening for pipes and vents. The search for the offenders began, but they remained undiscovered.
Around the prison. Still, it's too close for comfort.
But do you hope they catch these guys?
Yes, most definitely, especially the sex offenders.
Here is another dramatic prison escape moment. Despite the apparent likelihood of its failure, this inmate's short-term escape alarmed multiple law enforcement forces. On July 5th, Devontae Jenkins, an 18-year-old inmate, took a daring escape from custody in New Orleans. While being transported to court, Jenkins was granted a bathroom break but slipped away from deputies in the process. He climbed onto a ledge atop the shuttered old parish prison and, stripped to his underwear, ignored commands to come down. At 8 a.m., Jenkins threatened to jump from the precarious spot 2.5 stories up. As deputies negotiated with him, tensions mounted. Finally, at 8:57 a.m., they managed to coax him to safety using cigarettes from an abandoned guard tower. Jenkins, who was facing multiple serious charges, was instead taken to the OPSO medical clinic afterward. A man named Cody Jandro was caught in the act by cameras at the Pinellas County Jail around 10 a.m. on this day. During recreation time, he scaled the northwest wall of the yard with impressive speed, slicing through razor wire in just 26 seconds. Deputies were following Jandro as he ran across the roof and jumped 11 feet to the ground. He sprinted over a second fence, but he wasn't free for long. Soon after, police caught him in the Clearwater parking lot of Golf Car Systems on 140th Avenue North. Jandro was taken to the hospital right away because he was hurt while escaping by crossing the barbed wire. He is now back in jail and was taken to Ohio as soon as he got better. On a chilly Saturday evening on August 20th, 2016, these two individuals, Ashley Tyler and Kenneth Lipsey, made a daring escape from Union County Jail. It's difficult to believe they were able to pull this off. Just after 4 p.m., the two prisoners, housed in the same cell, broke down a chain-link fence in the recreation area. They climbed to the roof, put a blanket over the concertina wire, and then jumped down the jail's back. By 9 a.m. the next day, their short time of freedom was over. The police found footprints in the woods near Buffalo Creek, thanks to a tip from a neighbor. They were both sent back to prison, and now they have been charged with new crimes that could add many more years behind bars. When 25-year-old Michael Maldonado made a spectacular escape on March 26, 2018, mayhem broke out at an Indiana County jail. He quickly jumped from the police car into the driver's seat as a garage door started to close, as caught on video by the Porter County Sheriff's Department.
Yesterday morning, take a look at this video showing 25-year-old Michael Maldonado making his escape. You can see on the left-hand corner of your screen, Maldonado.
With a rush of adrenaline, Maldonado opened the driver's door and slid out from under it as it went down. The officers, caught off guard, sprinted after him, only to have the door shut behind them. That was when he vanished from sight in an instant.
Car as the garage door begins to close. Two officers take.
After a history of arrests for possession of illicit syringes and drug paraphernalia, as well as for driving on a suspended license and resisting arrest, Maldonado vanished without a trace.
Authorities in Porter County are still looking for an inmate who escaped from custody yesterday morning. Take a look at this video.
Soon after, police found a stolen car that was tied to his escape. This made it even harder to figure out where he had gone. Reports later revealed, though, that he was caught again the next day. As seen in this next video from May 2023, Norman Wolfs, an inmate, bravely escaped from a moving black SUV owned by the Trimble County Sheriff's Department on the roads of Arkansas.
I have no idea what was going on. It was 100% a shock, Doug.
There's a guy in a corrections outfit on the side of a van.
Take a good look. The black SUV.
Wolfs climbed out of the back passenger window and grabbed the car as it went 70 miles per hour. The whole thing was caught on video by an anonymous eyewitness driver. His body swung dangerously outside the SUV as he held on for a tense 2.5 minutes.
Gentleman is climbing out of the passenger rear window. Eventually, after about a mile, gets completely out of the vehicle.
While the car was slowing down and about to make a turn on Brownsboro Road, Wolfs jumped out and slipped his shoes in the air. Then he ran into some nearby woods.
Here's the escape.
He pops up immediately, and as you'll see in the video, he runs down through the little ditch and...
However, the police continued to search for Wolfs, but all attempts to apprehend him were unsuccessful. Not so long ago, a shocking video emerged showing Danilo Cavalcante, a convicted murderer, making his escape from Chester County Prison. Watch as Cavalcante carefully climbs up a jail wall, using only his strength. When he gets to the roof, he finds some layers of razor wire, which he was able to get through. Police launched a crazy 7-day manhunt and offered a big $20,000 prize for his capture. During an investigation, a surveillance expert found shocking similarities to another escape from the same location, which revealed a major security flaw. However, reports later surfaced of his rearrest. Danilo Cavalcante is now facing 20 counts for his sins. The reality of prison breaks in Russia is a combination of extremely secure institutions, terrible living conditions, and every once in a while, successful breakouts. Despite these precautions, escapes still occur, typically due to the breach of strict security measures or the clever planning of criminals.
Появляется веревка, следом по ней спускается человек. Этот мужчина...
On May 13, 2013, security cameras caught a dramatic escape from the notorious Matroskaya Tishina prison in Moscow. The recently released public video footage shows infamous prison escapee Oleg Topalov descending a rope from a window.
В черной шапке и перчатках. В одной руке он держит покрывало. Вот он опирается ногами на оконную решетку. В какой-то момент поворачивается лицом к камере. Вот этот кадр. Нет.
He carefully drops a blanket on the barbed wire while wearing a black hat and gloves, and then jumps over the fence. Topalov, who appears to be confident, walks past a guard and into a neighboring tram depot.
Потом, уверенно и словно не замечая охранника, проходит через КПП, расположенного по соседству трамвайного депо. На свободе Олег Топалов пробыл чуть более суток.
He was caught again the next day in Izmailovsky Park. The scandal got worse when it came out that the jail staff who were supposed to be keeping him safe didn't do their job. As a result of their part in the escape, the guards were charged with carelessness and put on trial. After his court appearance in Bangkok, Thailand, on September 9, 2023, 35-year-old Yuki Yanagi, a Japanese, made a daring escape by stealing a police car. How he managed to escape was such a mystery. As officers left him unattended, surveillance cameras captured the entire scene. Yanagi, feigning injury, seized the unlocked car. He sped through the complex gates with a screech, just missing an officer. However, his flight didn't last long. After several hours, cops found him at a hotel 19 miles away, and that ended his short but thrilling escape. Moreover, Yanagi's court tragedy in Thailand occurred shortly after his escape from Japan, where he had stolen over $136,000 from Japanese individuals. Security footage from Tomsk, Russia, captured drug dealer Denis Talaev's daring escape. It was decided that Talaev would spend 10 years in prison, but he never heard the decision. He was clearly frightened of a hefty sentence. This is how he got away from the police a few months before the verdict. It all happened in the courthouse's courtyard. When the van with the supplies arrived and the police started unloading, Talev seized the chance. Then he ran off and threw the powder in the guards' faces. Police officers tried to stop him with their guns, but they missed. In response to the escape, authorities initiated a nationwide search and set up police checkpoints. Simultaneously, authorities punished 5 cops for their errors. If caught, Talev could face up to 4 more years in prison. But as of the moment of making this video, his whereabouts remains a mystery. Using garbage cans as a means of escape from a Kentucky prison, 2 inmates allegedly pulled off an unbelievable prison break. Check this out.
It looks like something out of a movie. 2 inmates using trash bins to escape from a Kentucky prison. Authorities say the suspects were rolled out in them.
The suspects were put in the bins by other prisoners. Then they popped out and ran away from the Louisville Metro Correction Center.
By fellow inmates, they then popped out and made their escape from the Louisville Metro Correction.
The police eventually caught both suspects, which is good news. However, the police charged 3 prisoners with aiding the 2 men in their escape. On this day, a 21-year-old murder suspect escaped from Headingley Correctional Center, Canada, sparking pandemonium. Around 11:45 a.m., he took over a box truck and drove off quickly. The emergency response team and police dog services, among other RCMP units, jumped into action.
Awaiting trial for murder, escaped from the Headingley Correctional Center earlier today and was nabbed by RCMP officers north of St. Anne. According to police,
as they got closer, the suspect didn't listen when they told him to stop, which started a high-stakes chase with sirens and lights flashing. The chase continued along highways and gravel roads until the truck went off the road and into a ditch.
Pursue the evasive driver with lights and sirens activated. Finally, after following him along highways and gravel roads, the escaped prisoner lost control of his vehicle.
The suspect was swiftly apprehended without further incident and is now back in custody, facing new charges. In the early hours of April 22, 2022, a Monroe County Sheriff's deputy spotted a U-Haul truck along North Dixie Highway in New York. He drew closer to the vehicle and approached the driver. The interrogation revealed Christopher Eldridge as the driver.
Hey, can you have a seat in the back of my car real quick?
For what? I didn't do nothing.
You're resembling someone that we're looking for.
Apparently, Eldridge had escaped from Wood County Jail on April 9, 2022, and had been on the run since then.
He gives a fake name and says he was coming from a party. Take a listen.
Where are you coming from?
Coming from just under...
When asked questions, Eldridge gave vague answers and said he was returning from a party. It was at that moment that Eldridge was caught because the stolen U-Haul had been linked to his recent sightings. The Monroe County Jail took custody of Eldridge and sent him back to Ohio to face serious charges like escape, robbery, and theft. In 2015, shocking video footage was found that shows the moments before the notorious Joaquin El Chapo Guzman escaped from a high-security Mexican prison. Watch as the CCTV footage showed El Chapo pacing his cell restlessly.
This is the moment Joaquin El Chapo Guzman makes the Mexican government look ridiculous, pacing up and down in his cell.
In fact, authorities closely monitored El Chapo's cell, but intentionally left 2 blind spots in the shower area to protect his privacy. It was surprising to discover that he had cleverly used a small 20 by 20 inch hole in the shower floor to build a tunnel that extended for a mile.
Remove his sandals, and then he vanishes. We now know that under the shower...
Apparently, a secret motorcycle and cart used for digging were hidden in the tunnel, which was equipped with high-tech lighting and airflow systems. All of this couldn't have happened without the help of his loyal cartel members. An investigation confirmed the involvement of prison staff as well.
A well-resourced operation with electricity and air supply and this makeshift minecart, adapted from a motorcycle,
In Georgia, a tense manhunt unfolded as 4 inmates broke free from a detention center early Monday morning. They managed to escape through a shattered window in their cell at 3 a.m. without attracting any attention. The prisoners were running toward the jail fence when surveillance cameras caught them. Authorities blamed the incident on inadequate staffing, as fewer than 10 staff members were overseeing over 800 inmates, leaving the jail overwhelmed. As of the moment of making this video, they still can't find these wanted criminals. Things went crazy at the Yakima County Jail at 7 p.m. on March 23, 2020. 12 prisoners from Annex C were able to escape by breaking open an outside fire door using a table. One of the witnesses caught a video of the prisoners running across the road on his smartphone while he was in his car on the highway.
Man, this was
Before the sunset, authorities apprehended 6 of the fugitives and returned them to prison, while the other 6 mysteriously disappeared. The authorities still haven't caught up with the runaway suspects, even though there have been multiple reports suggesting where they could be. The dramatic sequence leading up to Michael Maldonado's escape from Porter County Jail was spectacular. Surveillance footage captured him leaping out of the driver's seat of an unattended squad car. Apparently, some policemen took him in their vehicle to a garage in one of their facilities. Then, while the police were busy securing their guns, Maldonado took advantage of the situation. He ran out of the building just in time for the garage door to close behind him. Still bound and barefoot, Maldonado ran across the jail grounds. His frantic flight caught the police off guard, and they chased him. Later, police put together the pieces of his escape. He had stolen a car from a nearby shop and then left it behind. After a tense manhunt, authorities found Maldonado in Burns Harbor, about 20 miles from the jail. This man escapes from a Russian prison in the most insane or outrageous way imaginable. Check this out. Initially, authorities arrested this Russian man for theft and sentenced him. On the day of this incident, the man managed to escape his cell by squeezing through the small food slot typically used to deliver meals to inmates. This slot is usually very narrow, designed to prevent exactly this kind of escape. After slipping through, he navigated the facility without drawing attention, eventually making his way to freedom by casually walking out of the prison. Escapes like this often come off as a slap in the face to security measures and prison management. In 2013, a court in Quebec, Canada, showed a dramatic video of 2 prisoners breaking out of a Saint-Jérôme detention center. The daring jailbreak was caught on camera and shown for the first time during the trial of Hells Angels supporter Benjamin Houdon Barbeau. Check this out. As it can be seen in the video, Houdon Barbeau and Danny Provençal climbed up a ladder to get to an armed accomplice's helicopter that was on the roof. The video showed how hard they were working as they held onto the rope and barely made it onto the helicopter. As it took off, they flew away from the jail. The police caught them hours later. An investigating senior official criticized the guards' inaction, saying shooting down an aircraft with a handgun was nothing but a pure fantasy. Nothing changed despite pleas for security improvements, as the facility saw more escapes afterward. A dramatic video from the Frei Damião de Bozano jail in Pernambuco, Brazil, in 2016 shows a daring escape. According to CCTV footage, 40 prisoners break through a jail wall, setting off their plan. As the wall falls apart, the inmates scramble over it, with some doing rolls to make their landings less painful. As they were all making their way out of the prison, something strange happened. We see some of the escaped prisoners frantically running back into the jail. The sudden shift in their actions is still unclear, leaving a tense puzzle in its wake. It's most likely that their mission to escape failed, probably because reinforcements came. This is definitely one of the funniest and most entertaining prison escape videos you'll ever see. The surveillance footage shows an inmate trying to escape from his cell. He made his way to a small office where 2 prison officers were working. In a flash, he dove toward a small window. The 2 female officers tried to stop him, but he managed to slip through. As they held on, his pants started to come off. The most amusing part of the footage was seeing him run down the stairs with his pants around his ankles. Here's another video that shows one of the easiest attempts to escape from jail. An eyewitness, who lived across from the detention center, captured this moment on their phone. Check it out. The footage was posted on Reddit by an unidentified person. When asked why they didn't call the police when they saw the escape, they said they didn't want to snitch. In the video, 3 inmates quietly climbed out of their cell window and made their way down calmly. Interestingly, this former member of the North Korean Special Forces cleverly planned his escape from a Chinese prison. He skillfully moved the wires of an electric fence with a makeshift rope, causing a short circuit. This carefully planned action went very quickly, and the individual in question was freed in just 3 minutes. In this footage of chaos in Georgetown, Guyana, a prison fire claimed the lives of at least 16 inmates. The blaze erupted when prisoners set their mattresses alight, protesting against overcrowded conditions and long waits for trial. Evidently, the escalation of tensions following a police raid for contraband was the catalyst for all these events. Despite the justifiability of the protest, some narratives suggest that certain inmates ignited the fire to facilitate their escape. As flames engulfed the Camp Street prison, ambulances rushed the injured to hospitals. There are also claims that the officers who sprang into action were slow in their response. As seen here on the surveillance camera, 2 unidentified inmates escaped from jail in Indiana. Watch this. For some reason, the moment of escape appeared effortless as another prisoner traced the same path a previous inmate had taken. All this happened in a few seconds. This footage from March 2020, when the pandemic was at its worst, shows how an Italian prison in Foggia was a total disaster. Inmates caused a riot because of the COVID-19 restrictions, which led to the dramatic escape of at least 20 prisoners. A larger uprising shook 27 jails in Italy, from Rome to Milan to Palermo. This was just one of many places where things went wrong. Inside the prisons, frustration boiled over. According to reports, frustrated inmates who had their visiting rights taken away and had to live in harsh conditions because of the pandemic set fires, attacked hospitals, and climbed on roofs to show their disapproval. In 2015, there was a disturbance at a federal jail in the Rio Grande Valley, so the prison was locked down. A lot of different groups, like the FBI, SWAT teams, and local police, came to the scene. The incident took place on February 20, 2015 at the Willacy County Correctional Center in Raymondville, Texas. Inmates got into a brawl, which led to injuries to both inmates and officials, prompting the jail to go into lockdown. The teams that came to help worked together to make the facility safe and get things back to normal. After several days, they managed to stabilize the situation and conducted an investigation to determine the true cause of the disturbance. This shocking video went viral on social media when it was released. In 2019, an inmate recorded the entire escape adventure of a group of prisoners, from their cell break to their escape into town. The shaky smartphone footage clearly showed how the escape was both difficult and daring. The prisoners managed to slip away without the authorities noticing until they were already far gone. The video ended with the escapees enjoying themselves at the beach and showing what their life was like a few days after leaving jail.
So grateful he decided to help us. This man is truly a hero. I wonder if people will ever realize what I'm talking about. He's just a really compassionate...
This footage from July 2022 shows 2 inmates who escaped from the River City Correctional Center in Camp Washington in the early hours of July 9th, between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. The report says they got out through a broken window. It wasn't until around 10:30 a.m. that staff realized they were missing. A staff member found the bedding and clothes on one of the beds arranged to look like a person. A strange event occurred at the Garland County Detention Center in Hot Springs, Arkansas. The video captured the daring escape of Derek Estelle, a 34-year-old man. William Harding, a 58-year-old man, apparently distracted the officers, allowing Estelle to make his move. Estelle leaped over the booking desk and slid out a window. On the street, a woman identified by police as Tamara Upshaw waited with her car's passenger door open. Estelle jumped in, and they quickly drove away. While all this was happening, a deputy chased after Estelle but failed to catch him. Soon after, the abandoned getaway car was discovered somewhere in town in Hot Springs. Since then, the police have been searching for Upshaw and Estelle, and they suspect that more people are involved. Unfortunately, all efforts to solve the mystery have been unsuccessful. 3 prisoners at the Hill Finkla Detention Center got away one Saturday afternoon, which led to a brief manhunt. Michael Hutto, Eric Garner, and Thomas Davidson, crowded in a holding cell meant for 6 but packed with 15, saw their chance when an inmate kicked out a window. See how they slid through and into the streets. The Berkeley County Sheriff's Office was alarmed about the escape minutes after it happened. And by the end of the day, all 3 were back in the holding center, where they were locked up separately in different cells. In 2020, there was a major protest across the country. Many people, especially young people, wanted the government to shut down a police unit called SARS. They believed this unit was cruel and acted illegally. However, the protests were labeled as riots by some. During this time, a riot broke out in Oko Prison in Benin, Edo State, Nigeria. A video showed prisoners escaping from the facility.
God, this is wrong. I don't even know if this is a revolution anymore because this doesn't look like a revolution.
Reports said that more than 1,000 prisoners took advantage of the chaos to escape.
Wow. Who has ever released anybody? Nigeria is releasing people.
Prison breaks during crises can happen more often because the prison's security and management might be stretched thin. This video from a surveillance camera shows prisoners escaping from a jail in Sakes, a Kurdish city in Iran. Between 80 and 100 inmates managed to escape during a coronavirus outbreak. During the week of this incident, reports of prison breaks were surprisingly higher in Iran.